Hey everybody, once again, welcome back to X Nation. I appreciate each and every one of you guys who have got subscribed to my channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome to all my new subscribers. Keep sharing my channel. Keep hitting the like button. You just don't know how much this means to me. I'm finally seeing my channel get a little bit of motion. And I've been working hard on this channel for a while, people. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do today, we're going to discuss the love and hip hop. Try to go through it real quick. I know y'all done seen a lot of people's take on it. I'm going to make mine as quick as possible, but sometimes I do like to get down to the nitty gritty. All right. Again, this is Gen X Nation. Everything on my page or my channel is alleged, in my opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. Again, alleged, in my opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. We're going to get into the whole love and hip hop of the thing. And what I will talk about, deep dive into is more the Yandy and the Rashida battle and who y'all think won. Um, I'll tell you how my take on it. I don't know if it was a winner or not in that whole battle. So let's go through the other scenes real quick. Again, sometimes I do go out of sequence because I try to get them all to, mash everything up together and get to the meat of the show. And the meat of the show was Rashida and Yandy. So let's just be honest. So, the show starts out with the guys kind of meeting at Magic City, I guess. They're sitting there kind of discussing what happened with, Lil Zane had to be the first one to ask Jock, what was that on the blogs I've seen? Lil Zane he always got to get the mess going. I don't know if they paid him to get the mess going, but he does a good job of getting the mess going. Of course, Jocks, went on to say, hey, Kendra said this. Always talking about this divorce, listen to things that's going on the internet, gossip, yada, yada, yada. And that guy, 24, was there too, and it seemed like he was enjoying himself there. He was like, ooh, this place bring back memories. Um, Scrappy and Shakira got to talking. It seems like Scrappy wants Shakira to stay trapped in Atlanta. And I think Shakira moved to Atlanta believing that maybe her and Scrappy was going to have something going on. I don't know if Shakira really realized who she had a baby by. I mean, I know she knew it was Scrappy, but I don't know if she knew it was Scrappy. Scrappy don't stay faithful or stay in one place very long. And I think Shakira thought, oh, I'll be the one to hold him down. Girl, you are like baby number, what, 5 or 6? If those other 3 people prior to you couldn't hold him down, I don't know why you think he was going to do it. So, of course, in my opinion, just my opinion, it seems like Shakira's threatening Scrappy, like, hey, if you don't spend more time with me and the baby, I'm going back to New York. I think Shakira moved there with the full intent of her and Scrappy was going to be in a relationship. And I think when she got there, Scrappy planned on just keeping her a quote kept woman. I'll help you pay for this and that. I just need my son near me. We're gonna see how that turns out. I think Shakira may move back to New York. I don't think she's going to stay there long while Scrappy is out here running the streets, traveling the world, and dating new chicks. I think she really thought her and Scrappy had something going on because she keep mentioning he comes to my house every night after he leaves his girlfriend. So that tells me there's still feelings there, and she's hoping one day her and Scrappy will be together. Girl, don't get your hopes up too high. Scrappy ain't that dude. All right. Um, After that, they had Jessica and Sierra. They were talking to each other. I always keep my notes. Jessica and Sierra was talking to each other. And at that point, I actually felt sorry for Sierra. I did have some empathy for her. I did not know she had that many miscarriages. And I know last time I did my commentary, Sarah did look off to me, but now she explained what happened. She literally was on these depression medicines and mixing wine with it, saying she didn't know. Now, most people or most medications will tell you on the label not to drink alcohol with it. So I don't know if Sierra is kind of using that as an excuse or just made that up or didn't read the label. But most adults know you read the label and you probably should never mix alcohol with any type of medication unless you're taking like maybe Tylenol or aspirin. So Sierra, I'm kind of sketchy on that. But hey, whatever it takes to get you through what you went through, we're not knocking that. My heart goes out to you. I don't know why she insists on having another child. I think her kids are older now, but it's something she want to do, and we should not be telling people what to do with their bodies and when not to have babies. Now that damn Jessica, something wrong with Jessica. Jessica's a beautiful girl, but she fits the stereotype of the model who don't have any brains. And that's not to say models are not smart, because we notice there's a lot of models out here who are very smart. But Jessica fits in that stereotype where people will always say models aren't that bright, because something is wrong with her. I don't know what it is, but it's something wrong. But as they were talking in the room and she's giving her the love and the hug and recommending that she go, to the doula and go through that whole, um, I guess, session that they have to make her heal herself and heal her body. Sierra mentioned Carly, and Jessica whole demeanor changed. Jessica don't like Carly. In my opinion, Jessica is the pot stirrer. She's like a person one week, the next week she doesn't like them. She's not stable to me. I'm not diagnosing her or anything because I'm not a damn doctor, but something is wrong with Jessica. And she's not a person that I would keep too close to me as a friend. That's the type of friend you keep on a leash for real. Because Jessica seemed like she'll snap on you in a heartbeat. Moving on. They had the Kendra and the Jock scene. Again, Kendra, I will give Kendra just, I'm gonna give Kendra credit this year. Kendra has not snapped at all this season. I don't know if anybody talked to her. I don't know if she read the comments. I don't know if her employer said something, but Kendra has been as calm as I've ever seen her this season. Because y'all know Kendra, back the last couple seasons, Kendra go from 0 to 50 immediately. Jocelle, da, 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 screaming at him. She don't do that no more. And I think that's really big of Kendra. It shows some growth. Jock is just so hurt because she was so easily persuaded and believing what people text or post on social media about him without coming to him first. And he was right. We know Jock has a history, Kendra. Let's keep it real. But you still marry him in spite of him having a baby in between y'all alleged break or prior to the marriage. I don't know. She said y'all was on the break. I don't quite believe that. A lot of times these guys do go out and have a child outside of the relationship, and then everybody say, oh, we was on a break, to try to cover up the infidelity. Hey, I wasn't married, so he had a baby on you. Shit happens. Let's just leave it at that. But I will say that I was on Jock's side this one time. I like Jock. I was on his side, and I said, Kendra, you didn't get that guy any grace. You immediately, because of his history, judged him and it's assumed whoever sent you those messages was right. And you went right into F Jock, I'm going on divorce all over social media. Jock was right. You should have came to him first. All right, my apologies, everyone. I thought I had my phone on silent. I had to take that call. So let's keep going. And last I'm going to talk about real quick was Kurt, Rashida, and I believe it was Jasmine and Jessica who met up with them. I don't know if it's just you and me, but not Kirk, Rashida is real friendly with Jasmine. And I know they're trying to do the whole co-parent thing, and I give them kudos for trying to be cordial with each other. But it's a little bit too close for comfort to me. I don't know what's that about. I'm thinking maybe they made some backdoor deal like, look, Jasmine, we'll let you stay on the show, make your money, as long as you don't bother Kurt for any more child support. Whatever he's paying now is good. We'll get you some shine, we'll get you some limelight, and you'll get some own checks, and then leave us alone with this extra child support down the road. I think some kind of deal was cut like that because, in other words, why is she on the show? Really? Like literally, I know she's Kurt's allegedly baby mama that he cheated on his wife with, but who gives somebody that type of platform after they hurt them like that? Doesn't make sense to me, but hey, who are we to judge people's relationships to that degree? I just do my commentary, as I always tell you, based on what I see on the show, episode to episode. So let's get down to the nitty gritty. We're going to get to this Yandy and Rashida thing. Now, first, Yandy and Rashida is, they meet up. You got the drama going on, the music, they're trying to get us all in, getting ready for this showdown. It was like the shootout at the OK Corral or something. They was sitting there waiting, and Yandy comes in first. Yandy came in on 10. I'm going to just say that off the cut. Yandy came in, Rashida walked in with her little press outfit. Yandy's sitting there like, what's up? And you know, Yandy, she proceeded to talk all over Rashida. Rashida was trying to get her points out. Yandy was cutting her off, cutting her off. That's how Yandy argues. I noticed that about her. Yandy doesn't let you get your point across. Yandy doesn't communicate when she's arguing with people. Because when you're going back and forth with a person, they say their piece, you say the other person says their piece, then y'all come together and make a decision or whatever. Every time Rashida tried to say something, Yandy throw another dig. She tried to say something else, Yandy short another dig. This is probably the most I've ever seen Rashida as far as being upset. Rashida would talk her crap, but I ain't never seen Rashida this upset. Yandy pulled some buttons on her. I literally thought Rashida was gonna blow a gasket. So they go back and forth throwing digs. Yandy telling Rashida, you obsessed with me. No, Rashida telling Yandy, you obsessed with me. Yandy talking about, I'm not obsessed with you. You had to swab your baby's mouth. Rashida was like, that you over there in London, saying that every time something happens, you running over to London, jumping on somebody's private part. Yandy saying, stay out of my business. Rashida saying, you stay out of my business. They're back and forth, accusing each other of hurting each other. Yandy saying, you went all up on some podcast, talking crap about me and my business. You stay out of my business. Rashida's like, yes, I did. And I'll do what the hell I want to do. It was back and forth. Okay. And then Yandy made the fatal mistake about, I gave you a job. And I think that comment there sent Rashida to another atmosphere. Rashida said, what? You gave me a job? She was like, bitch, you ain't giving me shit. You know what I'm saying? She was like, you was up there in New York on Love and Hip Hop New York. Where is that at now? That's canceled. That was Jim Jones franchise. Let me tell you something. Rashida was exactly right on that. Because if you think about Love and Hip Hop New York when it first started, Yandy was not on the first season. I think she was on the second or third season. It was Jim Jones. The franchise was based off of Jim Jones and Chrissy crazy ass and Jim Jones' mom. I think her name is Miss Nancy. Those were the characters that show was centered around. Now, did Yandy have some say so in it? I think she might have helped create the show and pitched it to what's her name, Mona Scott, because at that time she was Mona Scott's protege and she was Jim Jones' assistant. Mona probably brought the show to production, and then later on, Yandy said, "Let me get on here. I need a check." All right, but that show in New York was Jim Jones, Chrissy, and Mama Nancy's show. And then you had Emily, and I think Fabulous was on there. You had remember that girl Juju? I think she dated Cameron. She was on there. You had Olivia on there. You had Rich Dollar and Olivia. They was working together trying to get some music done. You had that Sotomayor girl, I forget her name. You had Tiara and Joe Budden on there. So Amina Butterfly. That show literally was for Jim Jones and Chrissy. And somewhere along the line, Jim Jones and Chrissy left the show. I don't know why, but they end up getting a spinoff with Jim Jones, his mother, and Chrissy. Because remember, Chrissy had got on her knees and asked Jim Jones to marry her, bought a whole ring and everything. And then that season was over. They started a new season. They was picking out rings. All right, so Yandy, you and Mendeezy got that show by default. You may have been the person who was behind the scenes pitching it, creating it in your mind, but that show was literally centered around Jim Jones, Chrissy, and his mama. And you and Mendeezy got it by default because when y'all came onto the show after Jim Jones and Chrissy left, and you and Chrissy got into a big old fight, they never came back. You might have blocked Chrissy from coming back to that show because they never came back. They got their own little spinoff. I don't know how. I don't think it worked but a season or two. And then you and Mendeezy took over because Mendeezy was going through his court thing on his way to jail. And then everybody was coming to Yandy for advice because you was put as the girl who was smart, a businesswoman who knew what you was doing. Meanwhile, you was kicking Mendeezy's baby moms out of the apartments that he apparently owned and was paying rent for. We remember Yandy. Now, Rashida, down there in Atlanta, that show was based off of Jocelyn, Stevie J, and Mimi. Let's keep it a buck. That was their show. You and Kurt came in by default because when Jocelyn and Stevie J ended up leaving the show because they had a little problem and they had to go. And then Mimi tried to hang in there when she started dating that girl Ty, who's been around the block on different reality shows. and it didn't work. And then she had her whole SES tape debacle. She left, and you and Kurt rose up by default. Okay, we done seen a lot of people come through Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. A lot of people come through Love and Hip Hop New York. Hey, that's where we found out who Cardi B was. I mean, people knew her on social media, but let's just say when she got on that show in New York, that one season blew her career up. Okay, and then we go down here to Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. You got the position by default, Rashida. Let's keep it a buck. Your husband wasn't that hot tub with Bambi, and we all know Bambi was from Basketball Wives with Malaysia out there in L.A. So all these shows do intertwine with each other. So nobody's really the king of the Atlanta hip hop, or the king of Love and Hip Hop, or the queen of Love and Hip Hop. Let's keep it a buck, because the people who really got those shows off the ground ain't even on the shows anymore. And that's just how it is. And that's just my opinion. So can we say Yandy won, or can we say Rashida won? Who freaking cares at this point? Okay, Mandeezy is doing his thing. Yandy know he's doing his thing. She know it's challenging her marriage. Rashida has already been through all of that. We seen you on the show about to cry your mother running over bicycles, throwing Kirk out. Kirk questioning the last son that you had. He wanted to take a DNA test because he thought you was cheating on him. Don't act like you ain't been through some crap, Rashida. Now with Yandy, what you're going through now is what Rashida's already been through. That's how she can stand there confidently and look you in the face and talk shit to you, because she's done it. And she spread her, it's all over the world to see. She probably wanted to hide it, but because she was a public figure, she could not hide it. We found out about the Bambi scene. We found out about the side baby. We found out about all the apartment Kurt had on the other side of town. And that he had his girlfriend living in. It was all but exposed on television. So yes, she brought all her stuff to the forefront. Yandy, you're going through the same thing Rashida went through 5, 10 years ago with Kurt. The difference is you're trying to hide it. And they're saying, hey, bring it to the forefront. It happens. It's reality TV. Housewives, everybody go through something at some point, divorces, whatever. We've seen it all. There's nothing that Mendeezy is doing that will shock us at this point. Okay? We done seen the side babies. We done seen the three-ways. We done seen the divorces. We done seen the SES tapes. There's nothing. Fraud. All of this on reality TV. So there's nothing at this point that Mendeezy is doing that we would not be shocked. So if something's going on, you're going to have to address it. Because if not, the bloggers like myself and everybody else and all these other social media websites, interviewers, they just going to come to their own conclusion. And I like the way Rashida handled hers, because Rashida said, hey, look, I ain't letting y'all tell my story. I'm going to tell it myself. Yandy, you better start telling your story, or this is never going to end. Once Rashida and Kurt told their story, everybody's like, whatever, hey, it is what it is. They may talk about it for Stan, but that's her decision. The only thing I find weird is Jasmine's still part of their family, but I ain't saying y'all can't be cordial, but she ain't going on trips with me and we having dinner together like that. At least not now. Still too fresh for me. Maybe when a kid like 10, 12, 18, graduate high school or something. I don't know. But hey, if I had to pick a winner at this point, I would say that Rashida maybe got one up on you, Yandy, because everything that happened in her marriage, she didn't hide it because she was on reality TV and she owned it and she kept going. She let it go. She let it be aired out. She worked her way through it. And I think people respect her for that. And that's what you got to do, Yandy. And I know Mendeezy is that low key type of dude that he mumbles when he talks. Well, I don't know, Yandy. Well, what you think? He don't want his stuff exposed because he want the world to believe he's bigger than what he is. And he not cheating. I mean, he said everything, but I'm not cheating. So it's pretty much you are cheating. Yeah, and if you had an emotional affair with somebody, just say it. Hey, if Medici was cheating on you and you felt a certain way, you had to fly over there to London to get your groove on, let people know. It's on reality TV. We respect that. What people don't respect is that they're watching a show, they're giving you viewership, and they dug into it, and then you playing in their faces because they felt cheated. They felt slighted as a viewer, as a fan. You're entitled to keep some of your life private, but when you're on reality TV, these are things that make good scenes. This is stuff that makes good content, and this is stuff that keeps their viewership up. Because if they think you're faking and lying, they will stop watching the show. You stop watching the show, it's off the air. Okay, we know you're a great businesswoman. We know Rashida is able to hold everything down, but this back and forth is just ridiculous. And the only reason I say she has one up on you is the difference is Rashida spilled her beans in front of everybody, worked through it. You haven't done that yet. You continue to lie and hold back and hide stuff while you're on reality TV. Because to this day, allegedly, you're not married to Mendeecees. And even Rashida said that when y'all was arguing and you didn't dispute it. All you said was stay out of my business. Leave me alone. I mean, you leave me alone. Then you walked off after you yelled over her and wouldn't let her get anything in. And then Rashida said, y'all done? I'm done with this and walked off. I don't know if this was a scene cut, whatever, but y'all probably don't need to be friends. And lastly, Rashida was right. That A you had was for Los Angeles Angels. Everybody know that. She had the real A. We know Rashida's born in Atlanta, so why are you arguing with her about that? That made absolutely no sense to me. Now next week, it looks like there's gonna be some more mess and drama going on, and Andy gonna break down and start crying. Maybe this is she finally gonna admit what's going on in that marriage. And again, and if you stay, you stay. Work it out, work it out. Y'all have kids. Nobody's telling you not to do that. Do you know how many women in America this may has to make that decision on a daily basis, whether they're gonna stay and work it out or leave? You're not the only one who's experienced this. Trust. We see it every day. All right. And Scrappy, that's the last thing I'm gonna talk about. He had a tour on in Puerto Rico, and he said he invited all the men. He didn't invite Mendeecees initially, but I think he eventually gonna invite Mendeecees on a trip, and we gonna see how this works out. And I got my little spidey senses is telling me little Zane is gonna be the center mass or center or the ringmaster, the pot stirrer. He's gonna be the person that keep the mess going when them men get to Puerto Rico. Because as y'all can see, when it was showing what's upcoming next week, that dude 24, apparently his girl Selma, then had some doings with another dude who showed them pictures and I guess photos or text messages. That's going to come up. He said, hey, y'all might want to let y'all boy know what's going on. I can guarantee you, well, I ain't going to guarantee you. I can pretty much bet if I was a betting person and this was Vegas, Little Zane will be the one to bring it all up. He's like that pesky little brother. He is the messiest person on reality TV to me. And I'm surprised ain't nobody punched his little ass in the mouth. But how much y'all want to bet? Next week, Lil Zane will be the one to get everything popping on that guy's trip to Puerto Rico. Guarantee. And with that being said, I know that was quick and to the point. That's all I got for Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. I appreciate everybody again who has subscribed to my channel. Please keep subscribing and following me. I'm going to get better and better with these reviews. I just don't like staying on these things for an hour or two because even I don't have that kind of attention span. All my commentary is alleged, in my opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. My commentary is week by week based on episode to episode. One week I may like you, one week I may not like you. Just depends on what you show me on the screen. I also understand that things are edited and cut to to the viewing audience, so we don't get to see it all. And one last thing I forgot before I get out. Yandy did post a video on social media about from years ago of an interview of how she created the concept of love and hip hop. And I guess the franchise eventually got expanded to Atlanta and LA and these other places. Just to prove to Rashida, I gave you a job. I'm the one got you this job and made sure you get paid. Yandy, so what? As I stated before, you and Rashida are now at the forefront by default. You by default because they canceled New York and Jim and Chrissy and his mama got taken off the show for whatever reason. And you and Mendeecees end up being the center of the show by default because that show wasn't really about y'all. And Rashida and Kurt because Jocelyn, Stevie, and Mimi left. So none of y'all came on that show with the sense of I'm going to be the star of the show and it's going to be centered around me. All right. And in the case of Yandy and Rashida, I'm going to have to give this one just a little bit toward that way. to Rashida. But listen up. In all seriousness, Black women, we got to do better. We got to learn how to get along and treat each other better. And even when we have differences, sit down and have that conversation. All this screaming and hollering and crap, that's just, we don't need to do that. There's enough going on, and I'm sure you guys see what's going on in this world than for us to continue to be hating on each other like this. That's why I was so passionate about what Kelly Price was saying about us. All right? Now, with that being said, you guys go on and have a safe, very safe, be vigilant, stay woke, as they say, rest of your day. This is your next Nation. Peace, and I am out.